am the man. I am this podcast.
I am Spartacus.
Pick It and Flick It podcast. My name is Vox.
I'm Luke.
I'm Natasha.
And every now and then, I think this is like the third time this has happened to us.
What happened?
Something goes wrong after recording, and the episode gets either deleted or corrupted
Or banished
or,
to the nether.
Yeah, sent to the 7th layer of hell.
It's gone.
And that's exactly what happened with this. So,
Take 2
here we go again.
of 1998's Blade.
Finally, one of our first recommendations, requests, suggestion that you can definitely do
Encouragements.
in the comment section below by a YouTuber by the name of
Gunnel Gainey.
Okay.
Thank
Gunnel Gainey.
Thank you
very much.
But again, I have
Making me
to
sit through this.
about 2 weeks ago when we got the request initially, I was talking to Vox and he was all excited because he thought we were doing Blade Runner.
Oh yeah, I forgot about this.
And I kept saying no, it was Blade, and he was very persistent that it was Blade Runner.
I swear it was.
He
Blade
even
Runner.
told me on the phone. He's like, both you and Luke said Blade. Well, we're watching Blade Runner. I was like,
swear
okay.
it said Blade Runner, but you know what? I just saw like the BLA, and I was like, Blade Runner. We're doing it.
That's you only needed the first 3 letters.
I was all about it, man.
Right, because this was a pre-comic book movie before the comic book movie craze. This was like super ahead of its time, before Spider-Man, the X-Men, all the MCU, and I think it influenced the genre a lot more than, I don't know, it's like talked about now, but does it hold up?
I think there's a time where like every comic book fan and nostalgic diehard need to just sit down and take in the very easily forgotten movies outside of the MCU, or the DCU rather.
Yeah.
And this is definitely one that I think has been swept under the rug.
Well, you remember the first Marvel film was, of course, 1986's Howard the Duck.
Oh yeah.
Classic.
And we got
George
Fantastic
Lucas.
Four in the 90s.
96,
Like a really old
I
one,
believe.
and a Captain America.
Which was 1990. I own that for some
There
reason.
was another Captain America?
Yeah.
I didn't
Yeah, it's
realize that.
really
It's
good.
so bad. And then we also got a Nick Fury. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. You said something about that.
Yeah.
But in terms of Blade, I feel like it's been almost like entirely forgotten. Like no one still talks about Blade anymore.
I would say that these type of movies, including like the Fantastic Four and Howard the Duck and all that, were like the the stepping stones that were kind of laid out for each of these movies that come into the MCU flourishing, if you will. Even I would even say Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, without like the corny layout of that, we wouldn't have gotten the
Which
Tom Holland
we all know
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man 2 is a perfect 5-star film, and anyone who says different is a liar.
Okay, well, I'm not getting into that
Blade.
with you.
This movie, I didn't realize this movie was a Marvel movie until we were in the middle of watching it.
Right.
But it doesn't seem like a Marvel movie, which is, and it's a nice change, I guess, because Marvel movies are so in your face. I love Marvel, but I just feel like they're like, this is Marvel.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and let's just take a little stroll down this alley real quick while we're doing this. This was rated R,
That's what I was about to say.
and it also starred a black superhero.
So suck it, Deadpool.
And suck it, Black Panther. And I actually no, don't.
Which is ironic because Wesley
love
Snipes was trying to get a Black
Yeah, you
Panther
can't say
movie
that.
made way back in the 90s when they offered him
Really?
Blade. Yeah.
I have it on my list. I was going through my list. I think Black Panther is still in my top 3.
Wow.
I think it's still there.
that
Did you
movie's
see
so
what
good.
Did you see what they just did on Disney Plus?
Yeah, I didn't see it, but I heard. That
I went on the app and I looked at it, and yeah, they did like what they did with Stan Lee for what was
So
that?
what is it,
Captain Marvel.
as you open the app.
Yeah. So no, when you play Black Panther for the Marvel Studios, that big
the
long
opening
opening
roll,
is
yeah.
just him, and it's
Well,
like purple.
It was just
cool.
Chadwick's birthday, like a few days ago.
Oh
It was
yeah,
like
he was
40
44.
44.
Yeah.
40
Also, speaking of Deadpool, real
Mm-hmm.
quick, Ryan Reynolds was in the third Blade movie.
Yes, Blade Trinity.
which I haven't seen.
We should do it eventually.
Okay, I've only seen the first two.
From
I
what
didn't
I
see the third one.
remember, either Blade 2 is much better or much worse than this one.
Okay.
And I can't remember which
it's
one.
not really hard to beat,
Right,
so-
because, again, as influential as this movie is, it does not hold up the best.
Oh, man. Let's get rolling on this
Well,
thing.
should we talk about the writer of Blade, David S. Goyer?
If you
who-
want to talk about him.
I don't think anyone wants to, but I think we have to.
Okay.
Of course, he got his start with the Full Moon Entertainment classic Demonic Toys,
Wow.
which we need to do.
Yes.
We're going to do it soon. It's about people trapped in a toy warehouse with killer toys.
Oh, yeah. I remember you telling me this. I'm
Yes.
getting some flashbacks here. That does sound enticing.
It does.
But more importantly than forgotten slasher movies that no one besides me even cares about,
Yes.
this guy has written a lot of other comic book stuff since Blade.
Really?
Yes,
Oh, he's the one who did...
a lot of stuff.
No. Eye Patch Man. Nick Fury. He's the
He
one.
did.
I think that's where I remember reading that about.
Okay.
He's the one who did Nick Fury as
Well, ironically enough, we were just talking about this before we started recording. Steve Norrington, the director, did this movie and then League of Extraordinary Gentlemen
Oh, yeah.
with the recently deceased Sean Connery.
Oh, rip.
And he never directed anything ever again.
And Sean Connery never was in anything
Yeah,
else
so
ever
that
again.
movie killed 2 careers, basically.
Didn't that movie come out recent?
2003, I think.
Yeah.
So it's been...
yeah, not recently.
17 years ago. That's recent.
Damn.
Nah. I would argue though that there are some good points in League, so we should add that one to the list too, along with Demonic Toys.
Let's do it.
We got a lot of stuff from this fucking
Very
movie.
widespread, yeah.
Yeah.
Which, before we get into the movie, the last thing is the 3 choices that the studios wanted to play the titular hero. Wesley Snipes, Denzel Washington, and my boy Lawrence Fishburne.
Okay, scratch Lawrence.
Not all day would I have him in
Who
there.
is Lawrence Fishburne?
Morpheus from The Matrix.
I was gonna say he's the.
He's also
Nope.
in A Nightmare
I
on
only
Elm
know
Street
Keanu
3.
Reeves.
Dream Warriors.
and we also have to. Good Matrix reference.
Thank
by
you.
the way. I haven't seen those.
Okay.
Any
well,
of
we got a
them?
4th one on the horizon.
Well, I've seen like 15 minutes of the first one and the last half hour of the third one, so I'm really missing some chunks here.
that would be one that would be controversial.
Yeah. So,
So.
let's chug into it.
Mhm.
Going off of the segue for the Matrix.
Yes.
We start this amazing masterpiece of 90s art.
With a fucking vampire rave.
And I don't know about you guys, but is this set in New York?
I don't
Yes.
Is it New York?
I
Yeah.
believe so. Yeah, because there's Chinatown and Koreatown.
Oh yeah,
and
okay.
stuff.
Who wouldn't love a coke snorting underground club full of fucking vampires that take baths in blood? I mean,
Probably
I know,
anyone who isn't a vampire.
I know
Right.
that's where I would roll.
Werewolves wouldn't love that.
Yeah, you're right. But if I was in vampire infested New York, probably would want to go to that club in the 90s,
Mhm.
of course. Obviously.
But it's nice that we already brought up The Matrix because we found out upon this reviewing that a lot of The Matrix seems to have been taken inspiration, or as I like to call it, stolen from
Yes.
Blade.
Dude, I don't
which
give a
predates
shit.
it by about a year.
I don't give a shit what anyone says. And like I said, I haven't seen The Matrix, so I obviously know.
But you know Morpheus
Yeah.
and Neo and the trench coats and the glasses
But-
and the blue and red pill, and you just know
alongside,
stuff.
right after this awesome bloodbath rave that we get, is a ridiculous effects in CGI infested
Yes.
fight. But
terrible
the
disintegrations.
The fight style is literally what The Matrix is. So I don't give a shit what you say.
Right.
Watch this and then go watch The Matrix. It's got to be the same.
Yeah,
It's
all like the slow motion, like
running on the
dodging.
wall and like
And they're all like
floppies.
wide shots. It's not like up in your face, terribly
Yeah.
done. Like the action. It's sad because the action like choreography is really well done in this movie, and then the CGI sucks.
Well,
and
I would-
does not hold up very well.
I would argue and go out on a limb that this is the only good fight in this movie.
Is it from the beginning?
It's from the very beginning,
Okay.
which is kind of a slap in the face to the viewer when I
What
got
do you
to
mean?
the end.
What about the subway scene?
We're not even there yet, but I have so much to say about that.
I know.
I don't mind. I don't know. I guess We'll get to it.
No, tell.
I don't mind the subway fight.
Okay, well, we'll talk
Yeah.
about that when we get there then. Because pretty much after this, we're slapped in the face repeatedly with, like, really terrible acting, some slightly messy and, quite frankly, uninteresting storylines that get thrown all over the place, and constant reminders that this movie was made in the 90s.
It's a very 90s movie.
Constant reminders. It's pretty much the whole, hey, we're in the 90s. Take a look at what effects we can do and what CGI can do and what green screen can do because we're going to speed things up and slow things down and flash really fast in your face. It's like, stop it. Just slow down for a minute.
Yes.
Because the whole driving scene when he's like, gets in the car and drives and everything's like
Oh, God.
sped up all
Oh
over the
yeah.
place.
Oh my God. I
And
fucking
that
forgot.
happens multiple times in this
Right.
movie. What is happening?
I wouldn't even say it dates the movie. It like just makes it worse.
It doesn't date it. It timestamps it.
Okay.
It's
that's
not-
a good word for it.
Yeah, it's not dating it by any means because we just got done watching The Exorcist a couple months ago. That's
timeless, yeah.
You know, this movie has restricted itself to a specific year.
Well, speaking of timeless classics, we got Stephen Dorff in this movie who plays the bad guy,
No
and
way.
he's in our favorite movie that we have yet to cover, Leatherface.
Oh man, that's 17.
Yeah,
Yeah.
from 2017.
Yeah. That we always talk about.
A tour de force, really.
Who is he in that?
He's a cop.
Oh, he's the sheriff.
Mm-hmm.
What? I think I had this revelation last time, but
We got-
He forgot.
We gotta do.
he plays Deacon Frost.
Yes. I totally forgot the
Oh
villain's
my
name, and you just reminded me
God.
how bad that name
Oh,
is.
man,
so if
everything
we're
is.
talking cast, then I'll bring up what I brought up last time.
Sure.
The little Asian girl.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
Pretty sure is
our conspiracy
Brenda Song.
Okay.
from Zack and Cody.
Yes. Whenever I Google it, and when I search little girl in Blade, it comes up with, or little Asian girl in Blade, it comes up with a little girl in rollerblades. But
Thanks, Google.
More importantly,
Brenda Song does come up, but the little girl is unaccredited in the movie.
so is it Brenda's song? Brenda, if you're listening, write in. We'd love to know. You can be on the show
Sing
anytime
us
you
a
want.
song, Brenda
I'd love
song.
to talk to you about Dylan Sprouse.
Oh, did they do it?
No, she was just his coat. They were.
How do you know? Did they do it? You don't
No,
know.
Well,
He's
there was a
way
pretty big
younger
age
than her.
difference. I don't think you realize the water you're
Oh,
stepping
really?
in.
I didn't watch that shit.
He's too old.
Oh.
You remember
No.
I Love Lucy? You fucking boomer.
Yeah, I do.
She's probably
Gilligan's Island?
like
Yeah.
35, and he is 2 years older than me. And he was like 16 when they were shooting that movie, that show.
Oh yeah.
Well,
so,
they started when they were like little kids.
Yeah.
Interesting. So, anyways,
Mhm.
they do this whole like, hey, we're gonna save this person because she got bit after vampire got sent to the
Oh
hospital.
yeah,
blah blah
Karen.
blah. Yeah, Dr. Karen Jensen, I believe her last name is.
She lives up to her name. That's which is a running joke that that's leading into the next podcast as well.
Okay.
Oh.
Great.
There you go.
Great.
The Karen jokes will continue to fly. That's all I'm
Little-
saying.
I felt
Little
like they
tidbits there.
tried to make a love story between her and Blade.
And then they just erased it all.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what.
And they gave up on it.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. They tried to make a story here and then gave up on it. So.
Well,
it's-
can we talk for a brief moment about my favorite character in the movie, my boy Whistler?
dude?
Is that the old guy?
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I kind
he's
of
my
re-
favorite.
Sam Elliott, Mickey Rourke like character.
I wish they wouldn't have destroyed his character as much as they did. Because
Yeah, they do just kind of waste him.
Not only do they waste him literally, they also waste his lines and potential because they give him like these. I almost felt like he was kind of like a who's the Clint Eastwood character where he punk Dirty Dan, Dirty Harry,
Dirty Harry?
I said
Dirty
Dirty
Dan?
fucking SpongeBob.
You call him Pinhead.
It's the only thing I know. I'm so sorry.
If they didn't do it in SpongeBob, we don't know.
I can't function without a SpongeBob reference.
No,
in
I'm
my
Dirty
life.
Dan.
All right. Anyways, Dirty Harry. Because when they come running out of the store at the one time,
Right.
Did I catch you fuckers at the wrong time? And shoots them all down. I don't know. I just feel like he would be like, make my day, punk. You know.
And then he blows the barrel of the gun.
So we can kind of move forward from seeing the bad guys in the corporation suits and Deacon Frost trying to read ancient texts.
But what about Pearl?
So that's where I'm heading.
Okay, good.
So let's just talk about this for a minute.
Let's talk about Pearl.
There would have been a really easily done tasteful titty in this movie. Okay? Really easily.
You're starting to lose me.
And not with Pearl.
Okay.
Just in
You made
general.
up for it. You recovered.
Just in general. But I have something to blow your fucking mind. So when they said
A gun?
they said, hey, we got to go talk to this person because they know how to read the ancient vampire text.
Right.
Or whatever. And I thought, hey, this would be a really good time to do like a Barbara Gordon Oracle situation. Are you familiar with Barbara
I
Gordon
am.
Oracle storyline?
Through Lego Animations.
She gets, shot by Joker and then gets...
And is paralyzed.
And then she's like...
Christopher Reeved, if you will.
Yeah, oh.
Was that mean?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay.
But things get really weird when we walk in, not only to a distasteful titty,
Okay.
but even bigger. Ready? Pearl is not a woman.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a dude.
I didn't know that.
Because Pearl is the name of like a fat librarian.
Okay.
So I don't know why it's a dude, and his name isn't like Chuck or something.
But I didn't know that because he has it has like fingernails that are done and hair's kind of like in a ponytail and some big old sloppy titties and a high pitched voice. So I was kind of disgusted even more as I'm reading more about this movie, trying to do a little bit of research.
Would it be in bad taste to make a Rosie O'Donnell joke right now?
No, Rosie O'Donnell's a bitch.
Wow. Well, then I was going to say, you're either describing Pearl or Rosie O'Donnell.
That's right. But what the fuck is wrong with this movie?
She reminded me of Pale Lady from Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark.
Oh.
Pale Lady.
Oh, that's really good.
That,
people actually like really liked that movie.
It was awful.
That was
it made me
really
really
bad.
sad.
That was like a
I love
unanimous
those
pan.
movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or not those movies, those books.
Yeah.
I thought they were so scary.
Yeah, that movie.
We planned on
sucked.
we were gonna do an episode on that, and it was so bad it like deterred us from doing it.
Yeah, we just couldn't do it. I honestly fell asleep during a good.
Didn't we see it together?
Yeah,
Didn't
we saw it in the
see
theater.
Yeah, we all did.
Yeah, I just fell asleep during a good chunk of that
Nice
movie because it was
movie
so
Which
bad.
I bet your dreams were more entertaining than what happened.
I don't dream very often, but yeah. Anyway, so after learning about the oversized sloth and that we have in this fucking movie, we start seeing the main antagonist, Deacon Frost, trying to decipher these codes, with a lot more poorly executed 90s CGI and effects.
Oh yeah.
In the subway. For some reason, a subway just leads straight to the bad guy's lair. And and they just run down there and take care of it.
The Ninja Turtles own the other half of the sewers.
And everyone dies besides Quinn, who is notorious for not dying in this movie until the end, who is also played by he's played by the guy from Grounded for Life. He's the dad of the year. Grounded for Life. What's his fucking name? Don
I'm gonna let you get there.
Donald something or another. I didn't write it down.
He's having a real hard time.
Oh man.
That's Donald Logue.
Yeah, that guy. Which I like in Grounded for Life, but man, was he fucking...
He's also in Ghost Rider.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God. And you know who else was in Ghost Rider?
Nicolas Cage.
And?
Nicolas Cage.
No. The guy from Tombstone. Sam
Elliott.
Yeah.
Bam.
We're doing a real big, everything's happening all at once.
It just comes together real nice.
That's right. So you liked the subway scene.
Yeah.
Before I tear this apart, I want to hear your thoughts on the subway scene.
So just them being, and I didn't love it. I just thought them being like right up against the wall and like the subway, like going past them and stuff was freaky. And it like made me a little anxious, but it wasn't like great.
Okay.
Well, you
It was just
texted me
not
today
that terrible.
Yes.
talking about the subway scene, and
Yes.
all I responded with was the subway scene was worse than eating at an actual subway.
Oof.
And that was all I got.
It's pretty rough.
It's
Do
true.
you want me to read my
Absolutely.
fucking paragraph here?
Got a few notes?
Yeah. So the only cool thing during the subway scene is when Blade pushes Quinn's face and it bounces off the subway as it's going down, and like his face starts tearing apart.
You know what I thought about now that I think about it? Spider-Man 3 with the Sandman.
Oh, yeah, because his face kind of grinds down,
Yeah, and
right?
you see it like gets all sandy.
Yeah. Oh, that's pretty good.
Bam.
I wonder how much inspiration from Blade they got from that.
Well,
98
to 2007, so
Interesting.
a few years.
But what isn't cool about this scene
Is everything else.
is everything else, and I can't get over the fact of how many shitty effects have been put into this. And since the story is already fucking bad, I can pick this even more apart. The scene was extremely cringy to watch.
Yeah.
I mean, extremely. Flashing lights made it literally feel like someone was sticking pins in the back of my head because it was giving me like seizures. And I'm not even epileptic. So
But he developed it from this
just
movie.
watching it. The camera, the entire scene vibrates up and down because it's supposed to, emulate the power of this
there's a lot going on.
never-ending subway. Why did it go on for 10 fucking minutes? The scene is 10 minutes long.
Really?
And the subway doesn't stop the entire time. What is this fucking
You're forgetting
Tokyo?
the parts where they
It's a really
start
long
going back
subway.
and forth.
Yeah, oh yeah,
They
and
turn around.
and they start
Swapping sides,
just doing circles in
Yeah,
one
it's
area.
like
They're
a
just
Looney
going
Tunes skit.
over and over and
Exactly.
over again. And then this is what really topped it off. The sound
cheering.
effects from when the swords are being swung around because Blade cuts Quinn's hand off.
Yeah.
And it's this really like bad sing sound.
It's literally some shit I would have downloaded when I was like 12, making shitty fight scenes with my friends, and it's like free sword sound effect. That's what that's
So,
on par.
I didn't notice this, but I went back. Like I started clicking back through the movie as I was doing my rewatch. This entire movie's sound is fucking terrible. There is no good sound design in this at all. I mean, even the gunshots sound fake. It's ridiculous. And then I thought that, I have to mention it, even though this is, I think the sound effects really topped it off. At the very end of the scene, Blade grabs onto Karen and then grabs onto the end of the train. And if you pause it just in the right moment, and I did, and I rewound till I get the perfect area, their bodies are completely stretched out. It's like the CGI fucking breaks. They're just stretched out like worms.
They turn into chewing gum.
Yeah,
for a minute.
which is just ridiculous. Not to mention how fast this train subway thing is going.
Yeah, it would have ripped his arms off.
It would have either ripped his arms off or broken her neck because he was hanging
From the
on to her.
whiplash.
Yeah, from the whiplash. Because if it just makes this huge S and then whoosh onto the back. Oh, that scene bugged the fuck out of me.
Yeah.
Thanks for letting me spiel on that because I just hated it.
It's frustrating because a lot of this movie is really well done, and there's a lot of really well put together artistry in it. And then you get to stuff like this, and you're like, oh, fuck.
The only thing that I say would be well done in this movie is the first and last fight scene. And the last fight scene, the only reason I like it is because it's comical as fuck.
Yeah.
The rest of it is so...
Well, I like Wesley
The
Snipes,
last
too.
fight scene is the worst.
It's a close second to the first one, but it's not good. So that just goes to show.
Are we talking about that now? Do you have
No,
more?
I got more. We're ready to roll. This guy requested it. We're giving him his fucking request worth.
We're going deep.
So all boring storyline and bullshit aside, we find out that Frost kills the leader of the Vampire Corporation guys. And mind you, this really pissed me off.
That was brutal, though.
It was cool effect, but here's the thing that kind of just threw it for me. The sun comes up. He starts gushing ooze out of his eyes and ear holes. And then here's Deacon and his fucking bitch. The sun is completely shining on his eyes.
They had the helmets on, didn't they?
Not yet.
Oh, the visor was still up?
The visor was up, and the sun is completely on his face right here. And then they
Well,
slowly
they had
pull it
sunscreen
down.
on,
Yeah,
too.
sunscreen, whatever. Come on.
He had that on when he was outside
I know.
in the
But it's like,
Chinatown too.
if that's the only thing that's keeping people from melting outside,
I'll wave my hand of it, but
Well,
Don't you
that
think
seems
Captain
like the
Corporation
thing.
would be getting up in the morning? Listen, I'm a ginger. The bathroom in my lights give me a sunburn. The lights in my bathroom give me a sunburn. Okay, I think if I was a vampire and knew that lights were going to disintegrate my skin, I would get up every morning
Just
and put a
cake in
whole
it, yeah.
tube all over me so I'm fine for the day.
it's the lotion for vampires.
Then we jump from there into Blade and Frost meeting in the park, and the second we see Frost with this little girl, it zooms in on his finger for no reason, and it makes like a hooking
yeah.
What's your sound? The knife sound that you make? No, when you're stabbing, like a stabbing noise. That's the sound it makes. It's like
Like someone getting shanked?
yes.
Oh.
As as he wraps his finger awkwardly around this little girl's face.
I completely forgot about
It's a
that.
2-second part, but it zooms right in on his finger and then zooms back out. It's fucked up, man. Not to mention,
That's bad.
he throws the little girl after smoothly dodging bullets, because we have to know how powerful Frost is.
He's very powerful.
You know, because every other vampire that was shot in this movie just die instantly.
But not him. He built different.
He can dodge bullets
Right.
in slow motion. He throws a little girl through a hot dog stand. Then she gets up after Blade, swoops her out of the street before getting run over by a bus.
Yeah.
No blood, no scratches, a little bit of debris in her hair, and this is my next, what the fuck? No one does anything in this movie. No civilian gives a shit. We've seen cops get slammed off cars, guy walking around with guns and fucking swords on his back, little girls being thrown into the middle of the street.
Halloween.
And no one even bats an eye.
That's New York for you.
I was gonna say that's
No, let me just say something. Can you imagine if this was in 2020?
That they probably are dressed up like that.
Every asshole in the world has a phone in their face constantly. They'd be all over the place.
It's a different time.
There can't
It's
be
the 90s.
They wouldn't have noticed because their face was in their phone.
Ooh, now we're getting topical.
Nah,
on this
I could
podcast.
get real iffy right here, and I'm gonna refrain from doing that. But no, people would notice that, because if people notice a single civilian being arrested by a police officer, they're gonna notice a girl being thrown through a hot dog stand.
Well, this was not 2020. So.
I'm just saying. You'd imagine that. And then literally nothing happens in this movie
And it just ends.
until we see a zombie out of nowhere.
Yeah. So I gotta bring up Curtis and how how I got a serious American Werewolf in London vibe from this random zombified corpse, I guess, that's never really established, brought up, or followed up on.
Apparently, it just happens because we totally missed out on Karen's ex-boyfriend. And I was really wondering where he was the whole movie.
I forgot his name, but thankfully I wrote his name down as Curtis. So
Okay,
I was really,
I didn't even give him the dignity on my rewatch to remember his name, to be
That
honest with
was
you.
so unnecessary.
What the fuck?
Why did they even need to do that? They could have just thrown her in that hole and she could have gotten out. But they were just like, you know what, dude? We need you to have more lines in this movie. So
They paid him for the day, so they put him to work.
Yeah.
it was so pointless.
Yeah. He must have had a really good contract.
Because it would have just been way better if she was just trying to get out of the hole because she didn't want to be in a fucking hole.
Right.
But
here
instead-
he is. Zombie boy.
As if being in the hole wouldn't have just worked fine enough.
Well, and you didn't even realize that. You were like, who's this guy? And we're
Yeah,
like, he was
you'd
in the beginning of the
forgotten.
movie. And
Yeah.
you're like,
And,
oh.
wouldn't it make more sense for it to be like a vampire?
Well, I guess that's just happens sometimes
Okay.
with vampires. Just
Sure.
bad blood, maybe.
They forget
Okay.
about people
Yeah.
that they threw in holes.
Threw him in the weird, fucking Pan's Labyrinth 4-square pit of death.
You
Yep.
know, the Cullens just have a pit with random people in it, too.
So
Just kidding.
in my notes, I basically just say that at this point I'm exhausted. I'm just exhausted.
It's a great way to describe it.
of how this movie went. The last scene, we can talk about that for a minute.
It turns into Halloween 3.
It's like a mixture of Cabin in the Woods
Yep.
and Halloween 3
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah, but Cabin in the Woods, they knew they were ridiculous. And they
Yeah, they were.
They
banked off of
they
that.
Were,
yeah, you're right.
they weren't pulling any punches with
like
that
they
one.
weren't.
No, and that was
And
what's
this
great
movie
about
doesn't
it.
Yeah,
know
I'm sure
how,
we'll do that one
how
sometime.
ridiculous it is and how corny it is. I mean, hopefully they know how corny it is because I felt like there were a lot of corny.
Yeah,
and,
no,
cheesy
yeah, it was
jokes
on
in
purpose.
Yeah.
But I hated the end.
And the bat skeletons.
Those
yeah,
were the worst.
So at first, even on the rewatch, I thought it slowly turned into kind of like stop motion as the people's heads exploded after being zapped with lightning, but it
God, when
wasn't.
they were getting electrocuted, that was the worst.
But
Oh, I know.
they had little bat skeletons
Inside
inside
their
their normal
skeletons.
skeleton. Like what?
with wings that just float
And
around.
Flying.
It's like remember in Gremlins 2 when that one gremlin gets wings and it flies out and then it
Oh,
fucking
yes.
lands as the gargoyle. Like
That was better animation than this.
Well, yeah, because that was fucking masterfully done.
Oh man.
Love Gremlins too.
I know. You can listen to our review of Gremlins 2 from a year ago, 2 years ago.
It's 10 years ago.
Okay, long time ago.
25 years ago.
Later on the podcast. Here's a good one that we can't forget.
Okay.
We find out that Blade's mom is still alive.
Oh, God.
Oh, my God.
And she's like trying to be all sexual with him.
I'm trying to forget that.
And then
That haunts
also
me.
we find out who his vamp daddy is because Deacon was revealed to be the one who bit his mom, turning him into a vampire, a half vampire, or whatever the fuck.
This was
he
a
is.
stunning revelation.
his mom tried to like seduce him or something.
Yeah.
at
It
the
got
end.
really incesty. It got really fucking
I'm
weird.
not your mommy anymore.
Okay. And then leading up to the pinnacle, the best line in the movie, we end up with this really messy, full of corny, cringy, choreographed moves with more vampire sword flips than you could ever fucking wish for.
Or want.
And not to mention some awesome, and I mean awesome, I can't express that enough, CGI that makes Frost look like his insides are made of bubblegum and it can reconnect to each other after getting cut in half. Do you remember that?
Yes,
Yeah.
the classic.
Oh my God.
I thought
turns-
it was very realistic. So.
Absolutely.
I
It
mean,
did not look bad at all.
That was mediocre at best, but the head explosion thing was kind of cool when his body
Yeah.
exploded.
But what movie has a better head exploding sequence? Big Trouble in Little China. The movie Vox refuses to let me do an episode about
I don't refuse. I'm just not there yet.
because you're not ready for Kurt Russell's manliness.
I think we need to do like one Kurt Russell movie a year. So.
No, I think once a week.
Once a week?
Yeah.
Oh my
All
God.
of our movies
Until we
are
get to
gonna be about
Bone
Kurt
Tomahawk.
Oh,
That's a good one. You're not even prepared for that one.
I don't want to be prepared for that one.
Sid Haig is in that one.
Oh, really?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You might. Okay.
Yeah.
You might get me a little bit on that.
I
one.
got you a little bit on that.
Yeah.
The guy from Lost is in it too. The main guy.
Mm.
Whatever.
Yeah.
We started to watch it.
Yeah.
And
What?
Patrick Wilson's in it also.
Okay. Well, he's. the same
But
thing.
anyway, we're not talking about Bone Tomahawk right now. We're going to talk about Blade.
What is the line that makes this movie perfect? Luke, do you remember?
Booyah.
No.
That's from Justice League. I'm kidding. It's Cyborg.
Yeah. Motherfuckers are always trying to ice skate uphill.
Yes, the classic Wesley Snipes coined line. Motherfuckers always trying to ice skate uphill, which doesn't really make sense, but it also kind of does, and is maybe the worst one-liner I've ever heard.
Yeah.
It makes Arnold's worst look like Bill Shakespeare.
They kind of destroyed this character in this movie.
Okay, well, I don't know how faithfully
I've only
he was
read
adapted.
I've only read 2 Blade comics.
Okay, well, we know he's getting a reboot soon with
Well,
Mahershala Ali.
So that's what I was going to say. I kind of forgot, and we mentioned this in the beginning, we forgot that Blade existed.
Right.
And then we were reminded.
Which is crazy because he got 3 movies, and every one of them, I believe, was
not only did
fairly
he get
good success.
3 movies, he also got a mini-series on Spike TV. It had 13 episodes, and Sticky Fingers, who is the guy who played Blade in this, replacing Snipes for the 13 episodes.
That's his name?
Sticky Fingers, it says.
How about that?
His birth name is Kirk Jones.
Okay, Kurt.
And he's known as Sticky Fingers. He's an American hardcore rapper, recording
a normal
producer.
rapper.
No, a hardcore
Hardcore.
rapper. I guess he was a member of the multi-platinum hardcore rap group Onyx. I've never fucking heard of him.
I don't know.
He was
Onyx, like
discovered
the
by
Pokemon?
Jam Master Jay and
Well,
Run
of course,
DMC.
he had
So,
to replace Wesley Snipes because my boy just couldn't figure out how to pay his taxes.
He's not. How long was that?
I don't know, but he was in jail for a while.
30 minutes, 34 minutes, and that's how long.
How
it took
long it took for
to
Wesley
make
Snipes?
a tax
I
joke.
you
really
know,
held off
I was
there.
gonna say I know you thought I wasn't gonna make one, or I would have done it sooner, but I held out just long
So
enough.
he's 47. What do you think? Does he look like?
Sure.
Kind of look like Snipes a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he would have probably been fine as.
But maybe we'll have to check it out.
Yeah. Anyways, so yeah, not only does this series have 3 fucking movies, it's got a mini series as well, and they just announced that they're bringing them into the MCU.
Yep, with hopefully a more dark take. than like the normal Marvel fare, but who knows?
It's going to be him and Snotty Nose.
Yeah.
Who's Snotty Nose?
I just made it up.
Oh.
Sticky Fingers and Snotty Nose.
Oh.
It's the next. That's a softcore rapper.
A softcore rapper?
Soft serve rapper.
Man. I just, I don't know, guys. I had a rough time with this one. Even on the second watch through, which, mind you, I didn't watch the whole thing. I did a lot of click through stuff as I was rewriting some notes and figuring some shit out. I just don't know what to say. I don't know what more to say on this. So, Luke, give us a rundown on how we do some review ratings on this bitch.
Well, son, we do both two things on this program. We do the pick or flick rating, a thumbs up or thumbs down, and we give it out of 10 just in case you need a little extra.
What?
Yeah, so Vox, what did you think?
So I'm pretty sure I changed my score and my suggestion. I'm going to say this is a flick.
Okay.
I do not think it's worth watching, honestly. I don't know if the second one is better than this one, and I don't know if the third one's better than this one. But after watching it again, there's a lot of issues. And I did a lot of the talking on this episode, so you can understand what I mean by that.
Yeah, last episode I didn't feel like you said as much.
Yeah. So, but that's what happens when you dive a little bit deeper, you know?
I'd pick it.
You'd pick it?
Yeah, I think it was worth the watch.
Really?
I also would pick it.
You'd say pick it?
Yeah.
All right, that's fair.
I'd give it like a low 6.
You're going to give it a low 6?
Yeah, I'll give it a 6. Yeah.
Okay, all
I'm
right.
trying to remember what I gave it, but I'm thinking like 5.5.
You and your points. Ridiculous.
It's short, sweet, and to the point.
I'm actually going to give this a 4.
Okay.
And I
Not
did
quite would you rather bad.
No, not quite
For
Would You
you,
Rather
yeah.
Bad. There's some good action scenes and
There
some
is,
good gore and a couple of good one-liners.
Which I think we need to look into both of the conspiracies of this film that we've uncovered of both The Matrix and
Yeah.
rendition.
Yeah.
Because you know me, I love a good movie conspiracy, and
we
I
need
wonder.
answers, damn it.
Yes.
But yeah, other than that,
That's about it.
That's it. You can skip this. You can skip
Hopefully the sequels will be better. I know Trinity isn't great, but
this. Are we gonna do the sequels
I might watch them.
eventually?
Yeah.
At some point.
Didn't you say you own all of them?
Yeah, I got them all.
There you go.
Yep.
No reason not to.
I got them all on.
You have them all, but you hate them.
Until then,
it's on. I got before we leave.
Yes.
I got it on a Black Friday sale.
Oh,
It
yeah.
was like $5 for the set on Blu-ray.
that's a steal.
And then someone suggested it, so I was like, "Fuck it."
It's like
I'm a collector,
coincidence,
so
yeah.
just because I don't like the movies doesn't mean I don't want to have them in my collection.
right. I
You
can't
know
say-
all about that.
Yes, sir.
I definitely would never buy a movie that I don't like. You will never see Nacho Libre on my...
Yes, you will because I own it.
I was
You
gonna
do
say,
not.
and we
It's
don't
on the shelf
we
up
don't
there.
disrespect that classic out in these parts.
Yeah, let's calm down.
But until then, stay away from raves where the sprinklers from above are spitting out blood because something might be wrong.
Tasha.
Have a good night.
Why can't vampires get a woman pregnant?
Oh, I don't know why.
Because they have to be invited to come inside.
I don't know if they can hear that, but that was good.
Thank you.
Bye.